out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the Victory Road review. You know, this Victory Road review will be the only Victory Road review on the Voices of Wrestling Network because Joe and Rich, they washed their hands of all things TNA and NXT. Specifically Rich. Rich threatened to burn it down if he had to watch it. So he's not interested in either TNA or NXT. As far as TNA goes, it's he didn't think the show's any good, but he also doesn't like the production, which I can't blame him there. It's pretty bad. Even it's not like I thought the production of Victory Road for Edmonton wasn't like as bad as it normally is. They still had like one camera that was off color. That was like they would be cutting to different cameras and all of a sudden Moose looks fucking green. So I'm just like, oh my God, man. I'm like, why can't you guys get it together? Like I don't understand. I can watch World Class Championship Wrestling from Dallas in 1982 inside of the Sportatorium, a shithole, right? But a legendary shithole nonetheless. And they got 4 or 5 cameras. They're all color corrected and it looks fantastic. And I'm like, why can't TNA in 2025 do that? Like, I don't get it. But technology nowadays is like way better, yet here they are still way behind. But all right, pre-show. Hold on. A swig of water for the working man. Chat, I'm monitoring you guys. I'll get back to you guys in a couple minutes. The pre-show, they did have a good match between Zach Wentz, Cedric Alexander, and Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel betrayed Wentz at the beginning of the bell. It was a pretty good match. The finish came when Wentz nailed Alexander with a cutter for the pin at 7:51, picking up the win. So that was good. Cedric Alexander is signed with TNA now, so that's news. Another TNA using their strategy of going to Orlando at the wrestling unemployment line and signing another WWE star. So they picked up Cedric Alexander. Cedric's great, obviously, like actually great. Not a star. Not everybody is a star, but he is like, without a doubt, a really good wrestler. Okay. So Gerard says they are not doing that match. So, okay. They're not doing Ricky Starks versus Trick Williams at NXT Invasion. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were all clear on that. Oh, hold on here. We got somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to JD Oliva. We're coming to work, JD. Oh, there. I got an applause button now.
And I'm plug ready. We'll see if the Ethernet cable works.
Yeah, you're already kind of cutting in and out a little bit, but we'll see. It seems like it's a little bit better than last week, though. So JD, I'm just running down the Victory Road results real quick, and then we'll get. But I've already done an intro, and then we'll backtrack, and then we'll get caught up. Okay. And also on the pre-show, AJ Francis hosted the First Class Penthouse. He had Matt Hardy, and then he put Matt Hardy through a table because obviously they're doing the tables match next month with the Dudley Boys. So there you go. Then they basically set up a match for later in the show, and they ended up having their own table match. At some point, Steve Macklin was backstage for an interview, and he's fired up. He's talking about his match with Frankie Kazarian. And then out of fucking nowhere, he gets interrupted by Judas Macias, former TNA legend from the early days, but who is now signed with AAA. And so I think they're teasing they're going to be bringing in AAA wrestlers into TNA now. And so Macias, who's a TNA or a AAA guy, looks like he's going to do a feud with Steve Macklin. So there you go. That played a factor later on the show. Of course it did. And then we go to the main card. System, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and JDC took on the Order 4, Jason Hodge, John Schuyler, and Special Agent Zero, who is the guy that they tell everybody. JD already left. The guy that they tell everybody is a monster, but he is no bigger than Matt Cardona or Moose. So But he is like he is a pretty big guy, but he's just not like it's not like he's 7 feet tall or anything like that. But he is an impressive specimen to say the least. Anyway, this is really quick, and the system won, and then we go to the next segment, which was pretty weird. We had Ash by Elegance. Oh, what the hell, JD? I'm trying to get you in. Okay, there you go. Ash by Elegance comes out, and originally she was scheduled to wrestle Masha Slamovich at Victory Road. I was under the impression, it was never promoted as this, but I was under the impression that it was the main event because they didn't have a world title match, and they typically don't put the X title on as the main event. And I didn't think that Steve Macklin versus Frankie was going to be the main event. I just assumed it was going to be Ash versus Masha Slamovich. Well, earlier in the week, Masha Slamovich gets herself into trouble. Jay, did you hear about this?
Yeah, she's up her boyfriend or something, right?
She I guess she'd been abusing him for a while. I hit him in the head with a frying pan at one point, and had been not only physically but like verbally and emotionally abusive to the guy. And it all had come out on the same day that her PWI 500 ranking, I don't remember where she was ranked, but that all had come out. And so she's persona non grata. She was pulled from the match. She's been taken off all of her indie dates and has gone the way of Joey Ryan and Marty Skrull. I do think that she'll return to the scene. She's pretty young, and it's just a weird situation. I do think she'll come back if she is able to repent in a good way. But she made it out. She actually put out a statement, and she didn't deny anything. So she just said that we're in a mutually destructive relationship, which I could probably see that, but I hope that she's going to be okay. And I hope that the boyfriend is going to be fine. And, they can get back to doing their job, which is pro wrestling. But for the time being, she's essentially been canceled. So, but Ash comes out. I assumed this was going to be an open challenge type situation, but she comes out and she's kind of like emotional on her face, and Carlos Silva and Santino Marella are in the ring, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And she gets the mic and she almost starts crying immediately. And it's like, oh God, what happened? And she said she's not clear to compete. She had to relinquish the title, and so the entire match had been scrapped. And it doesn't sound good for Ash by Elegance. I don't know what's going on. I could probably ask around, but I'm not going to, because it's none of my fucking business. I think that that's better left for her to come out with her own story. I'm not going to poke and prod around that. And I think that is the appropriate way to handle this situation, because how emotional she was when she was given that announcement did not sound like it was a good thing. And that she could be out for an extended period of time, maybe even, you hate to tell somebody that they're going to retire, but it just sounded so sad. So I feel for her. I do think that she had been improving a lot this year, and so much so that they put the title on her. And I was expecting her to have a pretty good match with Masha Slamovich, because they had worked before and it was good. So, but we didn't get it. So anyway, she leaves the ring, and Santino Marella announces that they're going to do a battle royal, and the final two competitors in the battle royal would then have a match later in the evening. So right away when you do that, the whole thing's fucking convoluted, right? So now because people they're used to these battle royals, and then like there's one person left standing, but instead they did it where there's two people left standing. In the battle royal, you didn't really have any top contenders other than, Danny Luna and Jody Threat had been, a contender at one point, but everybody else, it was the Inspiration, who they're not contenders. They've been a tag team. The Angel Warriors have never, like, I think Lei Ying Li at one point did challenge for the title, but she wasn't really looked at as being a contender. And I think her and Zaya Brookside are a full blown tag team at this point. You had one like Edmonton wrestler that nobody knew who she was, even the announcers. And when she got eliminated, Tom Hannafin said, well, yeah, that person is eliminated, whoever that was. So that was So like the announcers didn't even know who was in the fucking match. But anyway, the final two was Kalani Jordan from NXT and Lei Yingli. And so we'll the battle royal was one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. Speaking of terrible, Hometown Man and Matt Cardona took on the Nemeth brothers, and the Hometown Man got a small package for the upset win in about 6.5 minutes, and then post match, the Nemeth hit Cardona with a Danger Zone and unmasked Hometown Man. So there you go. And then we had Mike Santana and Rich Holland. They had another, like less under 10-minute match. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was like a good little TV match. But again, this was supposed to be a bigger show. It came across as a TV match. So, but Mike Santana got the victory there. Mustafa Ali battled Moose in one of the best matches of the night. I thought they both did a great job. They had told everybody that they weren't going to have interference, but naturally, Tasha Steelz got interfered there towards the end. She was dressed as a dancer and came in and hit Moose with a low blow. And then, of course, Mustafa Ali got the victory at 12:18. Joe Hendry and Eric Young was right after that. Surprisingly, Joe Hendry won. He has not won a match in a long time, but he got the victory there in about 12 minutes. And then Matt Hardy got his revenge on AJ Francis in a tables match. Obviously previewing the Dudley Boys match that's happening in Bound for Glory. That was less than 10 minutes. Matt Hardy did a leg drop from the top rope to the outside through a table onto AJ Francis. The match was fine for what it was. Wasn't anything special, but the people like to see Matt, and AJ Francis is a good heel. And then the vacant knockouts title match was Kalani Jordan versus Lei Yingli. I was watching this match, and I think Kalani Jordan's pretty good, but Lei Yingli I just felt was just way better than her. Indy Hartwell was the referee. But sure enough, this would have been the spot. I would have put Danny Luna in the spot. Danny Luna's a heel. She's been getting built up as a heel. She wants the title so bad. I think if they would have put the title on her, and then if she lost it in a few weeks to Indy Hartwell, I think that would add layers to her story. That would have been the match to do. And I think Danny Luna might have actually pulled a decent little match out of Indy Hartwell. But instead, they just put it on NXT star Kalani Jordan. There's nothing wrong with her, and I think she is a protege of Ash by Elegance. So there is the tie in there. The problem is that you just put it on another NXT star when they just got it back. Now people are saying this is adding to the invasion story. I don't think anybody fucking cares. Like nothing against Kalani Jordan. Not a ton of personality there. Decent talent. Not exactly famous. And I don't think anybody's clamoring to see Kalani versus Indy Hartwell. But at least with Danny Luna, there's been a build story with her and her request for the title. I thought Victory Road would have been the time to put that belt on her. But they did it. And look, and Kalani is a babyface. So it doesn't really fit in with the storyline, like NXT and TNA world are heels, right? And going into Bound for Glory, you would think that you'd want that belt on a heel if it's going to go to an NXT star, but it just went to Kalani Jordan. Frankie Kazarian then challenged Steve Mack for the international title. He got the victory. El Macias distracted Macklin, and then Kazarian hit a low blow. Essentially the same finish that they had in the Mustafa Ali match earlier. Match was okay. Not bad, not great, but it was like a solid wrestling match, right? And then in the main event, match of the night, probably match of the week. I'm sure somebody else kicked out of more shit at some point, but I thought that Leon Slater defending the X Division title against Myron Reed was fantastic. It was classic X Division, tons of flippy shit, tons of kickouts, tons of wild and crazy moves, exactly what it should have been. Of course, Leon Slater got the victory after the match was over. Santino Marella came out and announced that Leon Slater's title will be defended again at Bound for Glory against none other than Javon Evans from NXT. Javon Evans, who had just wrestled Sami Zayn on SmackDown. So I thought that was fantastic. So great way to close the show. Really good main event. I really dug it. Now the show itself was fine. Like I said, it was a glorified episode of Impact. So I don't think that many people watched it. It was going head to head, kind of with SmackDown because it came on at 9 p.m. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it on Friday night. I had to wake up Saturday morning to finish it because it was on so late. But